Hey, True Believers. Chris Mack coming at you today with Red Hood and the Outlaws, #1. And this was from the New 52 era. There was a lot that was wrong with the New 52, and this book is no exception. There's some good parts, but there's one gleaming, nasty, pulsing zit that really gets under my skin. But just looking at the cover, the one thing I remember is, a lot of books nowadays you don't really see $2.99 anymore. It's what, $3.99, $4.99, $5.99. But I remember when the New 52 came out, there was a promo poster that came out, and it said, "Drawing the line at $2.99." And yeah, needless to say, that didn't last long. So for those of you that don't know, the New 52, essentially what happened was, this was DC's big idea to reboot their entire comic line. So if you read Flashpoint, and Barry fixes the timeline, we come back, and it's a different world. The majority of all past continuity is out the window. Superheroes have only been superheroes now for about 10 years, so they're really, really young. And for me, it didn't work, but there was some shining examples. Scott Snyder's Batman was definitely one of them. Grant Morrison's Superman. I think that's it. There wasn't a whole lot from the New 52 I really followed other than those two. If I'm wrong, let me know down in the comments if I'm missing anything that was... Oh, and then of course Jeff Johns' Justice League was relatively good. The print date on this book was September 2011. This is I Fought the Law and Kicked Its Butt. This is Scott Liddell writing, so you're thinking, yes, Scott Liddell, one of the old school X-Men writers, sweet. Art and cover by Kenneth Rocaford, colors by Blonde, lettering by Carlos M. Magal, cover, well, you can see here everyone else that was working on this book. This character here is Roy Harper. Most of y'all would know him as Speedy, which was the ward of Green Arrow. And so he says his name's Roy Harper. He's an idiot. Nice guy, but an idiot. He came to the Middle East nation of Karak to help the people here overthrow a brutal dictator. Turns out, surprise, surprise, that the people turned out to be just as bad. Which is why they hired these mercenary goons to toss him in prison on some trumped up war crimes. And so you see Roy looks like crap. And to kind of put it in perspective, the way they kind of present Roy and Jason is they were kind of the bad boys of the Teen Titans back in the day, I guess, and they kind of were always close in that regard. And I will say, the paneling is really, really interesting. So, you see this pastor here, because he's getting ready to be executed. We see this pastor saying, "I'm going to give you the last rites." And you can just feel the tension of all these mercenaries watching, waiting for something to happen. And the priest says, "Well, can we have a private moment to pray, please?" And he opens up this hollowed out Bible, and Roy's like, "Holy God!" "Exactly, son. An open mind, an open book will set you free." "Is that really my bow?" "Yes." And he realizes this is totally insane, right? Amen. And right at that point, the way that you find out how that was Red Hood, it's really interesting. It reminds me of Arnold Schwarzenegger in Total Recall, the lady scene, if you remember that. It was hilarious. So I love how Jason and Roy just begin to kick ass and take names, because these two are always kind of on the outside, and that's, again, the book. I'm a little disappointed, though, that they never really got to shine together pre-Flashpoint. They were getting ready to tease the outsiders in the original continuity, but I didn't really like Jason, the way that they kind of set him up through Grant Morrison. They kind of really went back to post-Crisis, and he had right here, but from what I remember, the original comics, he had blonde hair, and he was talking about how Bruce always made him dye it black like Dick, which he had black hair post Crisis on Infinite Earths. I know, comics, my God. But I just wish that they would have put these two together before Flashpoint. Now, when I was talking about the pulsating ugly zit, that pisses me off. So here's Coriander, Starfire, fan favorite of everybody, all the way back, dating all the way back to the early 80s in the Marv Wolfman, George Perez era. Now, don't get me wrong, the artwork's breathtaking and spectacular, so she's obviously not the gleaming, blistering zit that I'm talking about. We'll get to that, but I just want to set that up. Her name is Starfire. She's not from around here. Specifically, she's from a planet called Tamaran. Born as a princess, raised as a slave. The Citadel were a militant race. She was traded into slavery by her sister, an effort to buy peace from a race of marauding aliens. Sounds kind of like Scott Free and Orion in terms of the New Gods. So she's not a big fan of soldiers on any world. It's a feeling I thought I could use to my advantage today. So here it starts to get a little, I don't mind crude humor here and there, but Jason really leans into how he's sleeping with Coriander. And again, just the way she talks, that's okay. I'll go ahead, because I was trying to get to it, but it's a few more pages away. Corey does not act like herself. If you all remember, Corey was always very warm-hearted, very welcoming. If you haven't read the comics, if you go and watch the new Teen Titan animated films, her personality is intact in there. Here it is not. She's just like, is there anything else I can do, Jason? If you could, Corey, fly ahead and take out any bad guys or anything. Certainly. I'll see you soon. And then Corey, again, just to make it clear, Corey was always intact with I'm trying to think of how to present this. Sorry, I haven't had enough coffee this morning. She was always in tune with her body and knew how to dress beautifully. She would do modeling when she was part of the Titans. And so that was always a big part of her character. But here is just like she's hyper sexualized. Like, for example, again, Jason, Roy, giving each other crap. Like Roy here says, aren't you a little worried about what happens when she finds out about you and her ex? In the original Teen Titans, her and Dick Grayson were a couple. They used to live together. I don't know why they broke up. I've been trying to find that issue. So if you guys could help me out, hit me up on that, please. So after that, we finally kind of start getting to the plot. And that's where it gets interesting for me, because we're building up this thing about, what are they called? I can't remember what this, is it the Untithed or something like that? But this woman's name is Essence, and she's asking Jason for help. And it ties into him coming back from the dead. So while he's busy doing that, here, again, this is what I hated about the New 52. So Roy says, you don't remember anyone named Dick? No. Garth? Dustin? Vic? I can't recall. Lilith? Gar? You're boring me. And he goes, Jason's over there talking to himself. And then here, this is what irked me. And we're here. Do you want to have sex with me? Aren't you sort of Jason's girl? Absurd. I'm free to do what I want when I want. If you're not interested, I can probably, and then, no, happy to oblige. With, just the whole idea of the New 52, Dan Didio, whatever his freaking name was, wiped out decades of character development, of heartfelt moments. Corey's now kind of this nihilistic character. If y'all remember, every time you would read the book, she always had a smile on her face. She was there, she was madly in love with Grayson. She was fiercely protective of her friends. And here she is, just doing what she wants, when she wants, for whatever reason. And that's the part of the book that I think really turned me off when I read this. The only thing that keeps the book going is I enjoy Scott Liddell. The artwork is relatively breathtaking, and I like the concept of going in to the all cast, that's what they were called, and how this relates to Jason and his resurrection. And that's what I'm excited to read more of. But I just really feel like, and I don't know if that was a Scott Liddell choice or if that was something that he was kind of directed, but they really, really did Coriander dirty in this book. And it chaps my butt every which way because I love the Teen Titans. Corey's always been one of my favorites. I always loved the way that her and Donna Troy bounced off one another. They always saw each other as sisters. Garth was always the little brother. You know, she was hurt when Wally said he was leaving the Teen Titans. So, and again, and you know, she even took Tara in. And if you guys are not sure who Tara is, go back and read the Judas Contract. They brought Tara in with open arms, and she did them dirty. And it hurt them, hurt Corey. So to see her just like, I don't know, remember who any of these people are, you're boring me. It's like a slap in the face to longtime Titan fans. So setting that aside, the plot with Jason, awesome. I have to go back and reread issue 2. It's been a long time. Both these guys' personalities are relatively intact. Roy and him, you know, Speedy, Arsenal as you'd later be called, kind of became the bad boy during the Neil Adams era because, you know, I remember the iconic cover of Green Arrow, Green Lantern, where he's shooting up, I think it's heroin or whatever, and that's where Roy kind of started to become the bad boy. And then, of course, Jason just being the bad guy for who he is. Anyway, again, trying to not think about what they did to Corey, but these two bouncing off each other, talking crap, and the plot being built up. I enjoy what Scott Liddell's doing there, but Corey, not so much what they did to her. So if you've enjoyed this book, please first and foremost support your local comic shop. Pick up a copy if they still have one in stock. If you've enjoyed this review, we really would appreciate it if you take a moment to hit like, share, and subscribe. Helps the club channel more than you could possibly know. And if you wouldn't mind hitting that fancy little outlaw bell next to subscribe, that way we can continue to upload content, you guys get notified. Come to the channel, and we love talking with you all, hearing your feedback down in the comments below or our social media pages, which I'll make sure to leave the links down in the description. So with all that said, thank you so much for stopping by. Hope you all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and happy hunting, true believers.